Welcome back to the F123 My Team Save here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. We are at Qatar this time around, and of course, it's a sprint weekend. So we've got a 19-lap quick sprint race before a 57-lap full Grand Prix. It's a circuit that is so fast and so free-flowing. I don't know if the Mercedes is going to dominate here, or because it's aero-based as well, whether we might stand a chance of sticking with them. We, of course, have now tipped over the 900 performance index marker. We're the only team to be above 860-ish. Everybody else, other than Alpha and AlphaTauri, are right in a little wedge together. It's so close in the midfield, but at the minute, we're a little bit further ahead. However, of course, with the performance of the drivers and the straight line speed of that Mercedes, we are still struggling to hold them off. We got very, very fortunate last time out. We got the win, Pierre got P2, George P4 and Lewis P14. So we are back top of the championship now with a 16-point lead over George and a 21-point lead over Lewis. With Qatar, USA, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas and UAE to go, who knows who's going to come out on top come the end of the season. With regards to my parts, I just need to have a quick change around of that for practice, and then we'll be ready to jump in. So drop the video a like if you're enjoying this save, of course, as ever. I'd very much appreciate it. Make sure that you're following on Twitch so you can come and watch these live. It'd be great to have you live over on the stream. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. Right. Practice. We've done practice, and as was the case last year, or at least we've done first practice, as was the case last year, the deltas are not as they should be for Qatar. So we didn't really get much at all from our practice programs, but we'll do some quick practice for practice 2 and hopefully be able to get as many resource points as possible from those sessions. But at the minute, I have to try and pull something out the bag in qualifying. We're not good in a straight line, but we're great through the corners, and it's going to be a trade-off. Which is the best way to go for this track? Probably straight line speed, but I'd rather be a bit more comfortable and make less mistakes than I would be 2 or 3 miles an hour faster in a straight line. Should be in the 19s. Deployment has all been used, unfortunately, and we are very much in the 19s. A 19.1 is a particularly decent lap time, I think. Took some underbody damage in that, but it's only going to take 3 minutes to repair, so it's fine. But I'm confident that we're through on that run. Very confident that we're through on that run, because they were in the 20s. Yeah, we are good for now. We'll be through Q1 with 1 run, thankfully, and into Q2 we shall head next, where hopefully they don't improve too much. Purple sector 1, purple sector 2, 9 tenths up on those around me, down to P7 now. I think I might be through. I think I could abandon the lap. I won't. I just want to see what we were able to put in, and if I got my ERS management correct. I might be into the 18s with this, maybe, just. Oh, yes, by a few milliseconds we're into the 18s. So, pole is a possibility, but they always up their game in Q3, don't they? I've got about 3 seconds in the pocket, sorry, 3/10 in the pocket. Is that Max Verstappen out? Max Verstappen didn't run again. A number of the cars didn't go again, and Max has made that decision. Maybe because he's trying to save tyres for the race, but it's a decision that was potentially backfired because by 16 milliseconds he's out of Q2. Gasly's taking a Pierre. Oh my God, it's Japan all over again. Sergio Perez is taking a 5-place grid penalty, so regardless of where he starts, he'll be behind us. Where he qualifies, he'll be behind us. But pole is there's a chance of pole here. If I can get it right, there's a chance of pole. Right, I need a really, really, really quick lap, and I've run out of deployment at the end. An 18.987. If I'd have had full deployment for the whole lap, I might have been able to find that extra 10th. But 4th is fine. 4th is fine. It keeps us in the plus with our sponsors, and we're only a 10.5 off Pierre. And I think I might have been able to get P3 Maybe not P2 or 1, but certainly I would have been faster than George if I'd had full deployment for the whole lap, but it's so difficult to judge. They obviously judge it to perfection because they're computer controlled, but I didn't quite get mine right. Not to worry, P4 is certainly a doable starting position with regards a race win, but at the minute, all I need to do is just be competitive with the Mercedes. I don't necessarily need to beat both of them. As long as I'm just ahead of one of them, given each Grand Prix, as long as they alternate and I'm not always behind the same Mercedes, we should be good. Hopefully, with Pierre being as fast as he is, you never know, the Constructors' Championship might come to us here. We finished last season in Qatar 9th. So this season, aiming for significantly better. It reckons a soft tyre. I don't think I can make a soft tyre last. So, everyone else, a lot of softs. A lot of softs. A handful of mediums, and I am going to have to be on the mediums. I'm pretty damn sure that my personalised from the projected, sorry, is a medium. There's no chance. Absolutely no chance. It is a killer on fuel as well, Qatar, so we'll put 3 laps worth of extra fuel in for the sprint and hope that it's enough and hope that we're fast enough on the mediums to not just get dropped by those on the softs. It should come back to us later in the session. Let's find out. 0.4. 0.4 will do. I'm the only one around me on the medium tyre, but my tyre wear is super high, so my mediums are probably going to wear the same as their hards. We have to hope for some luck, I think, here. In the sprint race, we might end up going backwards a little bit. ERS is really hard to recover here as well. At least it was in the... it was in the Creator Series race we did. With the upgraded ERS here in career mode, maybe we'll be alright, but it was really tough. The soft-tired runners are all over me. I think I had a little bit of a... Oh, I've run wide. A little bit of a coming together with Sergio Perez or Carlos Sainz. Couldn't really see which when I just quickly glanced in my mirror. They've both got a little bit of a yellow end to their nose. But we've dropped to 5th. It's okay. We're still with at the minute. So that's all that matters. Pierre's getting away a little bit out front, which is good. Maximum points for the team from his side, I hope, on the end of the race. Because I'm not going to catch him. Every time I get a little bit of a run through a corner on exit, they just have me. They're running lower downforce. It's fine. Yellow flag behind. It's an Alpha Tauri going very slowly. Might have spun, might have been contact, might be retiring, not sure which yet. Driving all over the shop trying to figure it out. Whilst looking at the minimap. He's still going at least. No, he's pulled off. That's going to be the Alpha Tauri out. DRS is enabled now though, and we are within it. So this will help. Iwasa is out of the race. Gasly sets the fastest lap of the race again. I basically matched my time from the previous lap, albeit 100th slower. He's pulled a long way off the circuit, Iwasa, isn't he? He's almost in the pits from the other side. He was so much better through the turns. Might have a run at Charles here. He's gone defensive into the final turn. Means he's slow on exit, but he's going to have that straight line speed. Going to have to use a lot of ERS here. If I take it off, watch him come back at me. Ah, that's crazy. Oh, he's made a mistake though. See you, Bal. He locked up in turn 1. He's gone straight on. Right, the two Mercedes are not fighting, but running very, very close to one another. So if I can close up to them, then we'll get ourselves back within DRS range, but Pierre has dipped. Pierre Gasly is a strong favourite for this sprint race victory right now. And as a result, if he can do this in the main race as well, the victory there too.
caution on Perez. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Oh, Checo. Not only does he have the 5th-place grid penalty coming for the main Grand Prix, he's now going to finish further down in the sprint race than he wants to anyway, because he's now got an issue with his car, so he might be taking even more of a penalty by the time we get to the sprint race, to the full race, sorry. Oh, hello, the two Mercedes fighting. Don't mind if I do, gents. I'll have a look. Hi, Lewis. Oh, God, hi, George. Nearly up the back of him. That's Lewis Hamilton dealt with.
Good job.
All because the Mercedes were too busy fighting one another. They're both, I mean, to be fair to them, they are both in this Drivers' Championship battle, so one needs to finish ahead of the other. It's not like they're just playing the team game here. They're both involved in a personal battle for the world title, so there is going to be some feisty... No, Pierre's retiring. Pierre's retiring. Right, okay. Pierre's bad luck, despite his emergence of real pace, still exists. The Constructors' Championship is going to evaporate. Or the Constructors' Championship Challenge is going to evaporate. But to be fair, I'd rather he did that in the sprint than in the full Grand Prix. There are more points available in the full Grand Prix, and he'll certainly have the pace to get through. I'd still expect Pierre Gasly to score good points after the full Grand Prix, but still devastating to have him retire from the sprint when he was comfortably going to win it. All 8 points were going his way, that's for sure. And now we've taken George Russell. I might be the one to get all 8 points here in this sprint race. Lap 8 of 19, and we finally, after starting P4, falling to P5, take the lead. Although only thanks to our teammate's retirement, of course. Whether I could have caught Pierre is a different question. My tyres are nearly gone as well, you know, nearly over the edge. 21% on the fronts after 9 laps. 9 laps! It's definitely going to be medium hard in the race. Medium hard soft, probably. But it looks like we chose the right setup because we're able to extend just enough through the middle part of the circuit to be able to have the luxury of the gap by the time we get to the straight, to not be worried about them. We do have to factor in the tyres though. I am on a harder compound which will last longer and better, albeit not very long. Crucially, they're not as good around the final corner than me, so they lose a couple of tenths there to then earn it back down the straight. But I think we're comfortable for the sprint win now, but only because of the choice of tyres. If I'd have gone softs, I don't think I'd have been anywhere near as competitive as we have been, because my tyres would have just cooked. It's quite cool that we would be 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 if Pierre was still in the race. But there's me, then 2 Mercedes, then 2 Ferrari, then 2 Alpine.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some
and
of this
presumably
energy.
Yuki in the Alfa Romeo. Presumably Lando in the McLaren. And then that'll be Max in the Red Bull, because Sergio has engine issues. 9 laps to go for the sprint, and then 57 more in the full Grand Prix. Lewis and George are battling tooth and nail for that second place, which would make a massive difference in the World Championship. If George finishes ahead of Lewis, he extends his gap. If Lewis finishes ahead of George, he closes the gap between the two of them. There's a lot riding on this for both Mercedes drivers, especially considering I'm the one now leading and getting maximum points. In terms of tyres, the mediums have gone to nearly 50% after 19 laps. We will only have 1 set of mediums for the full Grand Prix. We will only have 1 set of hards for the full Grand Prix, and the hards are half a second slower than the mediums and a full 1 second slower than the softs. So I don't know if it would be better to just stop more times on a soft. What we've done, however, is we have used 1.7 laps worth of fuel in those 19 laps. So 1.7, 3.4, 5.1 laps worth of fuel should be enough to see us through the main Grand Prix. I'll put 5.3 in just in case. But we think we know what to do tyre-wise. We think we know what to do fuel-wise. Unfortunately, Pierre is now going to start at the back alongside Ayumu, but we'll start on pole, and what we do tyre-wise depends on what everyone else is doing, because I'd be quite happy again to go offset to them as we did there if it means that at the end of the race, as we did there, we have more pace, especially with my personal tyre wear being so much higher. But that sprint race has given us excellent data to now head into the full Grand Prix and know exactly what to do. So I'm on pole, as per. Lewis managed to pit George Russell to finish in P2. Russell presumably 3, not expecting any penalties in Russell. It should be both Ferrari. Sainz takes a pen, both Alpines. Norris then Verstappen. Sainz takes a penalty and starts P9, just a 5-place grid penalty. Hopefully, Pierre's not 22nd, but the fact that he retired last makes me think that he will be. Perez's penalty. Hauger's taken a penalty. Gasly does start in front of Ayumu. Okay, so P21 for Pierre. He will absolutely have the pace to come through there, and if he undercuts, then he'll be in an even better position. Mediums and hards for those behind, and then softs for everybody at the back. Pierre on the mediums, as well as Hauger and Perez. So those in the faster car are looking to go longer. Tell you what, how about medium, soft, hard, and then soft at the end? And then that way, if a safety car comes out, we could just take the hards to the end. Or if a safety car doesn't come out, we could just take the hards to the end. Because I'll be undercutting on the medium anyway, because the other driver's tyre wear will be worse. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go medium, soft, hard, soft. And if possible, if we can, and the race allows, take those hard tyres to the end, depending on the situation at the time. We've got 5.4 laps worth of extra fuel. The AI are also, in the majority, starting mediums and hards behind us. And then softs at the back, but some mediums in there as well. I feel comfortable enough to start as we are and go from there. But will it work? And 0.8. It's not great, but it's not terrible. On the same compound tyre as everybody else now around us, apart from Ocon, who's a step harder. We did have a poor start in the sprint over the first couple of laps. Got stuck behind Charles Leclerc. Let's try not to do that this time. Oh, it's a quick drop. Lewis. No, George Russell, so bad. George has plummeted. Esteban Ocon's flown up into P2. George Russell was so bad there. He's lost loads of positions. And because everybody was battling behind Ocon, or battling with Ocon, we've just disappeared. Where's George? George is down in P5 or 6 now. I've just pieced out. I don't know what happened there. We'll take it. Everyone will probably catch me, but it gives me a chance to at least try and earn a lead. Lewis has managed to get past Ocon already, and now the gap closes and the race begins. Weirdly, now it's time to sprint to get away. If you'll pardon the rather obvious pun. Everyone getting stuck behind Ocon. And with Bottas in there too, Russell, well, to be fair, with straight line speed, he should absolutely blitz him, but George might be having a little bit of trouble to get through. Pierre has already made a couple of positions, which is great. Hopefully, Pierre will finish strongly in the points. So on a different strategy to everybody else around him, other than Hauger and Perez, who he will be faster than anyway. I think he's already passed Hauger. Bottas, oh, right, there you go. Russell just managed to get himself up into P4. It's actually Ocon that's dropping back. Bottas is still maintaining pace. And Ocon is fighting Russell. This is dream scenario stuff. We said yesterday that in the last episode that That was pretty much perfect. Well, even without any sort of bugs, this has been pretty much perfect. But my tyres will wear quicker than theirs. And let's find out what sort of strategy Lewis Hamilton's on as well. Is he 2-stopping or 3-stopping?
Okay, we think they've got 2 stops
Okay,
remaining.
they're 2-stopping. I need to disappear.
Last lap was a 1 minute 30.2.
I'm 2-stopping. I need to, rather than just be happy with a 1.5 second gap, not good enough. I've got an extra stop to make. I need to disappear. I need to use the tyre rather than trying to make it last. Time to use the tyre. Bottas is doing a tremendous job at holding George Russell up. Could not be happier. We owe Valtteri Bottas. If he manages to continue to hold him up for a little while, we owe Valtteri Bottas a rather large steak dinner. Or a case of champagne or something. Lewis just hovering at like 2 seconds behind. I'll still continue to try and grow the gap. But 4.5 to George is huge. And it's all down to Valtteri Bottas and Esteban Ocon. Thank you, Alpine. Merci beaucoup. I don't know what thank you is in Finnish. I'm afraid, Valtteri, sorry, I can't say thank you in Finnish. George will surely get him down this straight next time around. Surely, he's right behind him. Russell into P3 very, very soon. And Russell into P3. Right, game on. Pierre's making more places.
They're in 18th. Your last lap time was a
I thought it was slightly higher than 18th. He's only made 3 spots. Thought it was slightly higher than that. They're all in a train though. But because he's on the medium, he's going a lot longer. So he's going to overcut a lot of them. Now watch that gap to George come down as he pushes. 4.3 currently, still growing to Bottas. 6.5 to Max, but that Red Bull is not a quick race car in this save right now. Hopefully strategy works out for him come the end of the race, the same way that we hope it will for me. Because at the minute, I've got, even though right now we look really comfortable, but because we've got an extra stop to make, we're really not. One of the Mercedes are still very much favourites for this race victory because of our tyre wear. Still got my fastest lap though. Quite surprised about that. Although I probably used a bit more battery than some of the others might have. Gap's extending again. I'll come out 11th when I pit.
The pit window, you're going to be on softs.
I do not have the luxury of having enough time to count back 11 dots. Or 10 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll be with where the Red Bull and the Haas are. Between the Red Bull and the Ferrari, I believe, which is where Pierre is now. Who's really making ground. He's just taken that Ferrari. Those guys on the soft tyres. Remember, everybody around Pierre, apart from Hauger and Perez, started on softs. Gasly was on the mediums. And that changeover in tyre wear is happening. Because Pierre is making significant moves now. Good. He was 18th. I think he's now 13th? 12th? 13th? 13th. Let's go, Pierre. Keep that going, mate. Keep it going, pal. 2 laps till we stop. Verstappen pitting from behind. That's intriguing. He's dipped early. Very early off those mediums. I thought my pit stop on my mediums was early, but Max is really definitely then on a 3 stop. Without any shadow of a doubt. He's in fact the only one to pit, is he? No, there's a Haas in as well at the back. Only 2 pitters so far. Verstappen, oh no, one of the Aston Martins is in as well. Verstappen, Hauger, and a Haas. And I will come out now 9th, which is in front of that Haas. Pierre is 12th, 11th, 10th. I'll come out ahead of that Williams, apparently. Between the Williams and the Aston, which would be a fantastic position to come out in. I won't say that I'm boxing this lap. in case Pierre wants to come in as well and it stops him from coming in. I don't think he will want to come in right now. A lot of other cars in front of him have now pit, so Pierre may genuinely want to come in this lap. So I'm going to not say I'm going to pit this lap, because that will probably ensure that Pierre doesn't. Pierre will have the time to allow for me to get in and out before he arrives on the scene for his pit stop. Only got a 5.3 second lead behind, and they're running a pit stop less than me, so I need to somehow make up another 10 to 15 seconds over the next 2 stops. It's just not going to be easy. They're obviously going slower at the minute to protect their tyres. I'm now boxing, however, for a set of soft tyres. Fuel we're okay for at the minute. Actually have to slow down here just for the turn. And just make sure that we are slow enough in time. Into the pits we come. Neither of the Mercedes in behind us. They're going longer. Onto softs next, so we should have some really decent pace.
Right, let's go.
Pierre stays out.
That was a fantastic stop.
Pierre stays
Faster than
out.
we're expecting.
In fact, Pierre is going to be P5 in a moment.
Okay, 2 stops left.
Right
now,
behind
2
me.
Stops.
Hi, Pierre. That's him right there. Gap to George, 17.4. Wow. You lose quite a bit of time here for a stop, because the track is so fast and everyone else is going so rapid. You lose loads of time. We had like a 7-second stop to George. Sorry, 7-second gap to George.
Let's use overtake and burn
So-
off some of this energy.
You lose about 24 to 25 seconds for a stop here. You'll see how the time is drastically coming down, but that's purely because we're on fresh softs that are not going to last long at all. Want me to go to lap 30 on these, and you know how bad my mediums were after 14 laps. Well, these softs are only going to be 10 to 15% worse than that by that point. Piastri now takes the fastest lap in the Haas. Go on, son. But we have just gone purple in Sector 1. This is developing well, but I'm still not sure how well, considering we have the hard tyre yet to run. Fastest lap, please. Pierre's in the pits now then at the end of lap 18. And there's your fastest lap at 22 flat. Pierre's had a, to be fair, pretty solid race so far. Is he going to another set of mediums? Or is he going to hards? Not going to find out, because Bottas just overtook him. He might be medium harding. No, he won't have the medium tyres. He'll have to be going soft or hard. Quite simply won't have the tyres available. He has plummeted is what he's done. He's gone medium hard, so Pierre will be running softs at the end and be lightning fast. Russell is now almost within DRS range of Lewis, which is going to change the complexity of their battle with each other. And if they start to battle... Oh, one's in the pits. They're not going to start to battle. Lewis is in the box. They were about to start to battle. Maybe Lewis slowed up slightly so that George got DRS. Try and extend his gap. We will take P2. And then, eventually, probably next lap, we will take P1. Lewis has gone hards as well. So the two stoppers are medium hard softing. We are now soft hard softing from where we are now. A medium soft, hard soft strategy. Unless, of course, we feel like we don't need to pit at the end, and we can medium, soft, hard to the end, but I don't think the tyres will last. I think we'll be forced into that third stop. George is in the pits. He's going, presumably, mediums to hards. Yup. We know what everyone else is doing. Just running our own race right now. Lewis is right with Max now. Within 6/10 of him. And it won't be long before the Mercedes has passed the Red Bull. Max's soft tyres went on 4 laps before mine. Certainly significantly before mine. And mine are already nearly 20% on the front. So his are going to be dead. So Lewis will be past Max very, very shortly indeed. Down the main straight next time around, I think. Lewis this past Max. Is he? No, Max holds on around the outside. I thought he was definitely going to get through there, Lewis. They're battling hard. Max holding him up. It's helping me out. It's helping George Russell out as well, actually. Russell's going to close back in on Lewis after Lewis undercut him a bit. By a couple of seconds, in fact. Do you guys also feel, with the icons, that if you turn them on, then other teams should be allowed to sign them? Or would you rather they didn't and it's only you that has the choice to sign them? So I think I've turned them on, obviously, and then it's up to my discretion whether I use them or not, but it would be unreal if Senna and Schumacher just signed for like Haas and AlphaTauri without my being involved in the discussions. That would be sick. George is significantly closing in now, and Lewis has actually dropped back a bit. Max is doing wonders for me at the minute. George is now very nearly right with them. 1.5 seconds behind, and Lewis is losing time hand over fist. We owe Max, as well as Valtteri, a case of champagne, I think, by the end of this race. We do still have 2 stops left to make, though, so we're still going to have a significant portion to try and make up. We just have to hope that we can make it up when the time comes. I don't think my hard tyres make it to the end without risking a puncture. Lewis is through. He's finally done it. It's taken him a few laps down the main straight. Lewis has managed to make himself a P2 contender once again. And now George is right with them as well. And George should be past Max Verstappen probably a little bit quicker. George seems to be a bit more aggressive in his overtaking than Lewis. Whether that's an age thing or lack of experience thing on George's part, that he's a bit not necessarily braver with overtaking, as you would expect Lewis to be just as brave as George, but perhaps George, being younger, takes more risks, which is why he sometimes gets through the traffic a bit quicker than Lewis, a la Japan last time out, where Lewis only made it back to 14th and George made it all the way up to 4th. Now that gap to Lewis will close. It will come down, and George is within 2.5 tenths, 3.5 tenths of Max now, so George will get Max, and then over the rest of this stint, they will close up on me. When I said I was about to lap someone, he's just as fast as I am at the minute, or similarly paced to me. Verstappen in the pits on lap 28 for him, as we're on 29. We'll be stopping 30. So Max is basically on a similar strategy to us, just a couple of laps earlier. I presume he's not taking his hard tyres that he'll go to next to the end. Unless he puts softs on again and runs hards at the end, which he may well do, because I think I moved my hard stint, didn't I? So Max might put a set of soft tyres on now. Just try and blitz it for a bit. If I wanted to commit to the 3-stop wholly and abandon the idea of maybe taking the hards to the end, then I could just put softs on next and continue to try and blitz as fast as I can. But I think the plan is to... There's a Haas pulling in the pits again. Why are you stopping again? Who's that? Really? Again? Kevin Magnussen. Oh, he's soft. He's just fallen back that far. Wow. Softs are not the race tyre for this track, lads. I don't know whether you've noticed. Pierre Gasly up to P9 now. Max has gone soft, so he will be going to hards at the end. I'm going to hards next, and I might try and take them to the end, but I will have to maintain some level of pace to be able to do that. So in we come for our second stop. Ideally planned of 3, but maybe we can do it in just 2. Wait and see. Those hards are going to have to last a long time though. 27 laps on a set of hard tyres is going to be a real challenge with any sort of pace. We might be better off still pitting and running a set of softs for some extra pace at the end of the race. I haven't decided yet. Depends what pace is like on these hards. But fuel-wise, we're fine, I think. We should be fine fuel-wise. There go the whoop. There go the two Mercedes. And bless him, Kevin Magnussen, who's running dead last by a long way right now. So we are down to P3, but effectively now, if we stick to our original strategy, this is our race position. Because those in front, those two in front have one stop left, and we, in theory, have one stop left. We're probably going to face a similar scenario to Japan, where we have to make a decision as to whether it's better for us to stop and put on a fresh set because this set won't take us to the end, or we'll see if this set might take us to the end. On another set of softs, yeah, okay, so K-Mag softing. That's an intriguing one. So there are so many different strategies at play here, as there always are, that it makes it quite difficult to predict and hard to track as well. We know that George and Lewis in front. George has taken Lewis, by the way, I've just noticed. George and Lewis in front both have one stop left, and that stop will be for a set of soft tyres. So if I decide to take these hards to the end, those two in front on those soft tyres at the end of the race are going to be so much faster than me. At the minute, we have a fairly decent tyre advantage on them. We're both running hards, but ours obviously have run significantly less laps. Is he going to go defensive? He's not. So we'll shoot up the inside. A little bit bullish, but he did turn in when I was halfway alongside him, so half of that is kind of on him. And now we'll try and get George and extend gaps again, if we can. It's all about time management now for us. But if I commit to time management with the hard and don't fully commit to it and find out that them on softs is going to be quick, then I'm just losing time. I'm just wasting time trying to save the hards if they're not going to last. So I might as well just drive the hards as I want to drive the hards. Oh, you're so slow. Why? You're quicker than that, mate. Come on now. He's going to go defensive into the last turn as well. Get a switchback on him. This doesn't work because of the traction he's got, but DRS will eventually pay dividends, and we should take George Russell. Sweep around the outside. Job done. P1. Bottas now pits from P5. So, yeah, now the decision is, do I manage these tyres and try and get them to the end and try and not stop again? Or do I just burn through them and stop whenever they run out? Depends on what the gaps are like behind. When they stop for their hards. Sorry, when they stop for their softs. Yeah, I could cover them off. When they stop, depending on when they stop for their softs, because I know mine won't last, effectively, according to strategy, we all have one stop left. So when they stop, I could stop a lap later. They would then undercut me by a lap for time, and then it would be a matter of who is faster on that new set of tyres. And my fear would be that they would be faster on that new set of tyres. But will we have extended this gap enough to allow us to do that? We might even extend this gap enough to be able to just stay on this hard set to the end. The car seems to have taken a step in performance, doesn't it? Now, we're starting to see that we do genuinely have that advantage in performance that we didn't have previously, despite being at the top of the performance index. Because the way that Pierre was able to pull away in the sprint from the two Mercedes says to me that we might be close to another difficulty hike. Depending on what happens in the next Grand Prix, we might be close to going from 102 to 104, maybe. Pierre is now right behind a group of 3 cars, and hopefully will make his way through them. And he is now in. He is now in. So he's going to try and undercut those 3 that are in front of him. Pierre will be going to soft tyres now. and he's going to try and take those 18 laps. They will go that far. We know that from the sprint race. But they won't go that far very quickly at the end of the Grand Prix. So he will have the undercut, hopefully, on those 3 in front of him. If he is undercutting them, he'll definitely get them just by 1 lap's worth of an undercut on a soft tyre. Then it's a case of, can he catch Leclerc in 4th? Maybe. Pierre could very well do what George did in Japan and finish P4, which will be a fantastic recovery from last and would underpin the thesis, the hypothesis that we are now effectively just that fast as a team, and the performance index is now accurate, and we are genuinely that fast, meaning that I'd probably up the difficulty again. But that is one we'll play by ear and give it another round of the championship before making a decision. Lewis is now into the pits, so he's going to try and take his softs 17 laps. No, 19 laps. What am I talking about? No, way further. Way further. Pierre's trying to take his softs. Has Pierre gone to softs? He must have gone to softs. Pierre's trying to take his softs 20 plus laps. I've got my maths all wrong there, because we're going 57 laps here, aren't we? So they're now going to try and take their soft tyres 22 laps. They're going to be so dead. But they said that they're 2-stopping. We're going to be able to stop. We're going to be able to finish the race on these hards, I think. We're going to be able to finish the race on these hards and not worry about a 3rd stop. Purely on race pace. Unless they get to the stage of looking like they're going to puncture, then I think genuinely now this Chesnoid racing car is just that fast and that dominant. Russell now in the pits too. He'll drop to about where Lewis is. Currently P6 for the minute. I don't know as we will need. We can see Lewis's gap, 33 seconds-ish. And that will be our gauge now as to what we do for the rest of this Grand Prix. The gap to the Mercedes, not really changing that much, dare I say it. Not that heavily that they'd catch me, even at this rate, I don't think. Though my tyres obviously will go off, but so will theirs. Such a long final stint on the soft set. Russell now past Hamilton. Or did that already happen? No, yeah, I think Hamilton was in front, wasn't he? Russell now past Hamilton. Mercedes drivers have switched positions. Is George Russell emerging as the title rival rather than Lewis Hamilton? That race in Japan might just have decided which is our main rival for this title. Verstappen finally pits for the 3rd and final time on lap 43. Or lap 42 for him, which is, again, 2 or 3 laps earlier than my pit window. And he's going to be going to a hard tyre? A hard tyre. So we have a pit stop's worth of gap behind us. The gap to George and Lewis is coming down, but it's only ever so slightly. We've got such an advantage as a car and as a team right now that I'm thinking I may genuinely up the difficulty to 104 for the next race and see what happens, depending on how everybody upgrades between now and the USA, which is what's next, I think. I think it's USA, Mexico, Brazil, Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi. I think we might up the difficulty from 102 to 104 because we've effectively run the same strategy here, and I've got half a minute's worth of gap. So I think it's pretty obvious at the minute, at least on this track, in this example, that the car has taken such a step forward that we need to up the difficulty again. Otherwise, this will happen every race between now and the end of the season, which ultimately won't make good viewing. I would rather have I would rather not win the championship with the difficulty being higher and having a challenge than leave it as it is and just stroll to the World Championship, because that just makes no content. It's just me basically just doing a full Grand Prix distance's worth of time trial and then going, yay, I won at the end. So I think we might up the difficulty for from 102 to 104 for USA next time out. And then we'll see exactly where we're at with the quality and pace of this car, with upgrades on it still yet to come as well for the rest of this season. At least 2 more anyway before we start adapting for the new regulations. But on that new set of softs, they die so quickly that they've barely caught me by 3 or 4 seconds in 10 laps. It's been mad. The soft is just not a great race tyre. So I will probably box on lap... Hello, Nick De Vries, who wants to unlap himself. Why? I will probably pit on lap 47 just to have a bit of fun on the softs and set another fastest lap. Yeah, Max has taken Pierre, unfortunately. The gap behind is getting perilously close to a pit stop's worth of time, so considering these tyres are now over 40 on the front and over 30 on the back, and still with 10 laps to go, I'm probably going to pit next lap. I'll pit 49 for a set of soft tyres, brand new, fresh, soft tyres that will take us to the end and get us a rather stellar fastest lap, and we'll see exactly how much the gap ends up being at the end of the race with those fresh tyres on. So we're in the pits again for the final time for a set of softings to take us to the end. We should come out ahead of George Russell, and then it's a case of how big a gap can we build again from there. And then we'll up the difficulty, I promise, because I know this probably hasn't been that entertaining from a viewer standpoint, and I'd rather that didn't continue for 2 or 3 races too longer than it needs to, considering Japan was as straightforward as it was, given the weird safety car thing that the other drivers did. So we won't have it extend and have 3 easy races, 3 easy victories. We'll just make it 2. Although the first one was out of my control, really. This one, we just didn't realise we were that fast until we actually came to the track. And to be fair, in qualifying, they still had me. In quali, they still had me. But in race pace, we're electric. So we might not qualify quite so well when we up the difficulty, but we should race just as well. So as we start our final lap, we are close to running out of fuel. I have fuel saved for the past couple of laps just to make sure, and that should be enough. I'll just fuel save a little bit more around here. That should be enough for me to now go flat out to the end. Well, I've done quite a bit of waffling in elongated highlights throughout the course of this race with the minimal or lack of track action, so I won't keep you too long at the end of the Grand Prix. But do let me know your feedback in the comment section down below about the whole upping the difficulty thing to 104. I'm certain I'm going to do it for the next Grand Prix, and I'm not recording the My Team for another couple of days, so I will have time to see your response in the comment section to this before I record the next one. So do let me know. I'd be very intrigued to know your opinions. If you think maybe I should go higher than 104, or maybe we just see what it's like on 104 and then take it from there. Because it's not like there are any tracks remaining really where the AI are super overpowered. That I can recall anyway. I don't think so. So we should be good, I think, at 104. We'll wait and see how it goes. My guy's celebrating already. I've not even got to the line. Celebrate with the team. Boom! It's back-to-back dubs. That's first place for me. Pierre might be P6. It's 3 wins in a row. Is it? Qatar. Japan. It's not 3 wins in a row. Oh, I get... No. 3 wins in a row for the team. It is 3 wins in a row for the team. I retired in Singapore, but Pierre won the race. So it's 3 wins in a row for the team. It didn't actually specify that in that radio message, but it is 3 wins in a row for Chesnoid Racing. And Pierre finished P7 in the end. Did he? No. He finished P6 in the race in the end, so 8 points for him, 26 for me. And in the standings, we'll find out as we drop back. I don't want to have them waffling on in the background too much than I need to. That's us winning the rivalry. Loads of pennies for the bank to help for improval of facilities and new contracts should we need them. If we win the drivers and constructors this year, I'd be tempted to start a driver career at 104 or 105 or wherever it is that we get to with the difficulty. They're both the same. F1 sim event. Why not? We don't need the advancement anywhere else. What's the date currently? Coming up to the 19th of October. When are these done? 23rd. So we're not going to get anything else there. We've got nearly 6,000 resource points now. You can see how far we've progressed compared to everybody else. It's no wonder we're winning the races by as much as we are. Well, no wonder we won that race by as much as we did. Can I upgrade anywhere? I can upgrade somewhere else. I'll advance to the next one just to see what if there's any regulation changes. And if there is, then we will... sure. If there is regulation changes, we'll see how we can adapt. But at the minute, I feel a little bit Red Bullish. And I'm not sure I like that for content. I'm not sure I like that for content. Watching Lewis win his first title. Watching Seb win 4 championships in a row. Growing up, it was more Damon Hill. So I'm way too concerned about my own. That's a bit egotistical, but we'll do that. I'm far too busy winning my own races to think about anyone else. Well, Damon Hill isn't an option, so I can't say Damon Hill. We're going to be up, hopefully, towards... Yeah, there weren't any new parts coming, though, were there? So, 23rd of October for that next one. That'll be for Mexico, won't it? We'll skip that. We don't need the money. And high cash balance. Yes, I know. Let's advance to the next Grand Prix then, to the race weekend, and see if anyone else has caught us up a bit. If they have, we might reconsider, but I don't think I will. I think we're going to whack it to 104 out of pure curiosity more so than anything else. Weather forecast. Quali is wet AF. It's a sprint race in America as well. Quali is wet AF. The sprint is dry. The full race is dry, although overcast at the beginning. And no one's really caught us up. We've just extended even further. So, yep, 104 difficulty for the next race. Abso-bloody-lutely. At the top of the driver's standings, we find ourselves now 26 points clear of George Russell and 33 points clear of Lewis Hamilton. In the constructors, we're only 62 points behind Mercedes at the moment. And I'm going to need Pierre. If we finish 1-2 for the rest of the season... Could we? I don't think so. I don't think there's quite enough races left. Maybe, though. Maybe. Well, settings. Difficulty. 104, please. Join me in the next one for the United States Grand Prix at 104 to see just how good this car might well be. That will do for today's YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. Let me know your feedback in the comment section. I'd very much would like to hear it. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more. And come and join me on Twitch as well so you can watch these live too. That'd be absolutely banging. For now though, YouTube, ta very much. I'll see you next time.